Welcome back to another edition of the VSOP Lounge. I, of course, am your host, the captain of the cool kids, host of the Grown Man Logic podcast, Dewan J, and I hope that all is well. Before I get into it, as always, it's customary. If this is your first time viewing this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. But we always do a drink of the evening, and tonight, our drink of the evening is a Royal Flush. A Royal Flush. It's up there on the screen somewhere with the recipe and the ingredients and everything that you need is going to get you right. But tonight we're drinking a Royal Flush. Now, we dropped the G7 series. We dropped the Bad Bitches Cosmetically Designed for Trash Men series. So we held men accountable and told them how to up their pressure. We talked to the women and let them know what they're wearing and what it signifies to men. Then we dropped a dehumanizing of the black man one-off with the rest of the Grown Man Logic crew. Shout to Kendra, follow her at Coffee with Kendra, follow Ian, The Uncomfortable Convo, or you know that one guy, UKNO, that the number one guy, over on Instagram. We're going to kick off another series. This is going to be a 10-parter. This is going to be a lengthy series because it needs to happen. It needs to happen, and it's one of those things that everyone knows, but nobody really talks about. Nobody really discusses. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to talk about, on this series, the 10 things that are killing your relationship that you don't even realize. It's subconscious. And we do it, and we do it, and we do it without thinking about it, and we do it because we're wrapped up in emotion. We do it because we're wrapped up in so many different things. And at the end of the day, where is the reciprocity? Where is the fairness to your partner? Where is the love that you're expecting to get going back to your partner? Because when you do these things, you're chipping away at ego, you're chipping away at self-esteem, you're chipping away at love, actually. The 10 things. There are 10 things that we do, and we're going to go ahead and kick it off. So we're going to up the pressure now. Tonight's topic, we're going to discuss speaking in absolutes. How many times have you heard it? You always do this. You never do this. Every single day you do this. Every single day you don't do this. Speaking in absolutes. Always or never are probably the two most common absolutes that we speak in. I can never depend on you. You're always running late. You always take forever. You can, speaking in absolutes, that's what we get to when we're talking about, that is probably the number one thing. And it's the easiest one to attack. Because when you speak in absolutes, there's no room for gray area. No room for growth, no room for understanding. You're talking to your partner, you're never, always, never. Well, there's two things about statements like that. Number one, if that person is always like this and you're still there, what's wrong with you? And number two, if they're never doing something, why was that something that you thought that you could change? Why is it something that you thought would go away? So the first time that we use always or never, or at first when we're starting to take accountability for statements like this, is where's my own accountability? If it's enough to have an argument about, and this person is always doing this, air quotes, for those of you guys listening on the podcast, and you know, if that person never, air quotes again, is doing something, what are we talking about here? Why is it that we stuck around? And if it is in fact the fact that we thought that we could change that person. Why are we trying to change that person from who they are? Granted, I get it. I get it. There's room for growth. There's room for change. There's hope for growth. There's hope for change, and that the relationship works, and that you guys or we can grow together. I get it. But let me explain to you what speaking in absolutes actually is. First off, it weakens your initial statement. It weakens your initial statement because it's an exaggeration. And quite frankly, it's not true. You're arguing with that person and you've come to depend on that person, or that person, you're with that person for a reason, which meant that at some point in their life, or in your life, in your time together, your experience, that they checked off that box. So to say that they always or that they never absolutely is not true. So your statement becomes weaker. It's disingenuous and it's weak. And you don't even realize it. You don't even realize it because you're in the heat of the moment, your emotions and your blood is boiling, and you're trying to drive home your point. And at the same time that you're making a weak statement, a weak, inaccurate statement, you're putting your partner on the defensive automatically. Because now I'm not listening to anything else that you have to say. Why? Because now, instead of focusing on what you're saying to me and what you're disappointed in and what you're upset at, I'm now looking for an example to counter your example. In one ear, out the other. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. We have to get away from statements that speak in absolutes when it comes to our partners, because it's a lack of respect. It's also charged with innuendo and accusation. To say that you never do this, you're always late, you're setting up disappointment, and it comes across as if that person is doing something wrong. As in, if your wife takes too long to put on her makeup, in your opinion. Well, when you say, you're always late, I'm always waiting on you, and we have to always go, 25, 30 minutes later to where we're supposed to be because you have to put on your makeup. Okay, well, cool. Take a breath. Think about why she's putting on her makeup. She's representing you as a couple. She's representing you as a man when she steps outside of her house. And she wants to be the best version of herself. And when you say a statement like always, or we're never on time because you always have to do this, you're making her feel as if she's doing something wrong. Women, when you're talking to your husband or your mate or your boyfriend or your other girlfriend, whatever, whoever you're talking to, right? To say that I can never depend on you to do anything. You always let me down, this, that, and the third. That suggests to them that the way that they live is wrong and they've never come through for you before. So it discredits everything that happened leading up to that point. Oh, Dewan, it's not that serious. It is. And it's one of those things where, as a woman, you'll fight this point. You'll fight this point. You got examples loaded up. You're ready to pull receipts, this, that, and the third. But as men, we kind of just take it. No, babe, that's not true. That's not an accurate statement. And if we're a man that's not emotionally intelligent and not in tune with our own emotions, now we're looking for points to counter your argument. It's not a quantifiable statement. There's no metric that you have to measure that you've never been able to depend on that person. You may be able to cite several examples. You may be able to cite one side of a story or something major or anything like that. You may be able to cite one source or one side of that. But it's not really quantifiable because What about the time that you couldn't reach something? And what about the time that the jar from the refrigerator was too tight? What about the time that you heard the bump in the night and he had to go downstairs? What about the time that he stopped you from getting finagled by the car dealership, or he fixed your oil so it saved you some money? These are all examples that get overlooked, and they get discredited and disqualified when you make a statement like you can't depend on this person. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit. And I'm willing to wager. If you talk to men, they'll tell you, yes, I've done these things. No, I don't think that I got the credit that I deserve for it. Now, don't get me twisted. We're not doing it for accolades. We're not doing it for the applause. We're not doing it for the pat on the back. Save your thank yous. I've said this many a time on many episodes. Save your thank yous. But when it matters and when you're upset, don't discredit what I did do. Because that is not fair. We get it. Being men is a thankless job. We're supposed to show up with good dick, some money, in shape, able to provide, protect, and produce structure and order, and be a ride or die guy. We're not supposed to expect anything in return. That's what society would have you believe. Okay, cool. If society's set up that way and these are the expectations and these are the conversations that are being had, check. I agreed to this when I signed up to be with you. It's not that we expect a thank you as men. It's that when it counts, we expect grace. And if we're supposed to extend this to you, we damn sure should be getting it back. Speaking in absolutes, we're talking about, in addition to making people defensive, in addition to not being quantifiable, in addition to being an exaggeration, in addition to weakening your statement, it comes across as condescending. It comes across as condescending because to say that you can never, or that you always have to do something by yourself, or that you can't depend on that person for anything. Speaking in absolutes, it's condescending because you're implying that you could have made it to the point that you were or are in your life and in your relationship and in your home and however your life is set up. You're implying that you could have done that all by yourself. And if that's the case, then why am I here? Am I even wanted? Am I being thought about? Am I needed? Am I disposable? And the thought process is that deep. It really is. The thought process is that deep. It's condescending because it makes it seem like that you're performing or putting in more effort than I am. That you're performing better or you're putting in more effort than I am inside of a relationship. And nobody, man, woman, boy, girl, deserves to feel like that with friends, with employers, with especially in your own household. How do you go to sleep at night thinking or feeling like your partner's putting in more work than you? And here comes the self-aware police. I get it. No, Dewan, this person should know what they're doing. They should know that they're that dude. They should know that. Save it. Because years, months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, this happens frequently. And every time a statement is made like that, it's chipping away at the ego. It's chipping away at the self-esteem. It's chipping away at the confidence in this relationship that you're bringing actually enough for your partner. And it's crazy because the person saying these things don't mean these things. They're saying them in the heat of the moment. They're saying them because they're angry. They're saying them because they're trying to get and generate a reaction out of you to make you feel the way that they're feeling in this moment because they can't properly articulate. Speaking in absolute shows laziness in thought. In other words, you have not sat down and decompressed and processed your emotions prior to talking to me enough to break down how you're actually feeling and effectively articulate what you're saying to me. It's a laziness in thought. Plain and simple, cut and dry. And that's why that's probably the easiest fixable killer of your relationship. We have to stop speaking in absolutes. Let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Let's debate it. Email me, talk2gml@gmail.com, talk2gml@gmail.com. Talk to us. Let us know. Let's debate it. Did I miss something? Am I right? Let me know in the comments. Did you enjoy this topic? Do you want to hear me go in further? Well, that's all I got for this one. Join us on Sunday. We're going to be talking about passive aggressiveness. Step number 2, or killer number 2 of relationships. Passive aggressiveness. And that's going to be a banger. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this with somebody. Turn on post notifications so you know that the next time we're getting ready to upload. And for now, this has been your weekly Wednesday edition of the VSOP Lounge. Cheers. Did you enjoy what you just watched? Be sure to give Grown Man Logic a listen on all streaming services and follow us on all forms of social media. We'll see you next time.